Hello, this is Christian Schütte from SAP Experience, and I want to introduce you in the way on how to manage an ongoing test with using our accelerated testing package. I've prepared in a certain folder a collection of all test scripts which are currently produced in my ongoing project, and for accessing the status of the testing, we're using the testing status master in the overview management folder. And what we are doing here is we're collecting out of all these test scripts in one table test cases all the steps which are documented in the test scripts, and you can also find finally the file name where it is coming from. So out of this big table we can do many things. We can make, you can see the figures here, what is the current status, so overall test steps, successful, not clear, errors, and still open to be tested. So what we do have is a pivot table which shows us the same figures per team and also with the different percentages. You can see the overall counts are the same as in the test cases table. So just to give you a short imagination of another test where I've used this accelerated testing package figures when the test almost is completed, can also look like this. So it's a very good way to access the status on the one hand side, and on the other hand side on an ongoing way to identify what is the assignment, for example, of transaction codes to different roles. The same for S4HANA apps, so which S4HANA apps can be used, Fiori apps, for within the different roles as documented during testing. So what you can also find is the whole thing mapped vice versa, and also a status per test script where you can see what is the current status of each of those test scripts. Based on this table, you can also do many different pivot analysis. For example, what I always do in my projects is when the status is unclear or F for fault or error, then there has to be mandatory a remark which is providing as a first place the number of the incident where this is documented. So if you do a pivot table, then on all these steps you can see which incident is relevant for which test steps and how often does it affect your current progressing in testing. So with this you can do a prioritization of your incident work-off. So to get all this, what we need to do is to run the accelerated testing environment, and this can be done by starting our process, hitting the start button and selecting the folder where the test scripts are stored in, and then you can see how it's progressing. So if there are links in these test scripts to other documents, you will be asked if you want to update these links, but you can skip this. In our enhancement file, we also have a macro to remove links in all test scripts which are in a certain folder. So if this occurs when accessing the status, you can simply run this feature in the enhanced file, and then it's done. So you see, you get the message that the test cases are updated and you are asked to save after editing. You can do this. If you don't save, you will have the same like before. So what I will show you is, because we have collected everything newly, there are also some steps which I've removed in the previous version already, where the teams were thinking that it's a good idea to put some overall steps between the test steps in the test script. So this is, from my point of view, not a good idea, and I will also have my teams to remove those, because those will be collected and also maybe counted, and it's makes simply the whole pivot analyzing more difficult. So what you should do is to ask your project teams that they only put in those test scripts the test steps which do have either a transaction code or an S4HANA app, because otherwise it's not a really executable step, or even both. So you can also see and follow up these, they've done it always with yellow lines. You can see which test script is containing, which is the source of this yellow line, so you can follow up on with those teams and tell them, please correct these test scripts and get them cleaned. The same applies to the team assignment here. Some teams, you see there's a lot of stuff which then also occurs here in the pivot table, which was much more nice in the version before, where I did the cleaning already myself. For this team replacement, you can also use a function in this enhanced package where you have the possibility for each business role to assign the team it belongs to. So you can use an updating function there where you put all business roles into one table in the translation XLS file and assign the team, and then run out of the enhanced testfälle enhanced XLS the macro which is updating these teams in all test scripts in the certain folder. And if you do the collection afterwards, again, you will see you will not have all these things which are not really accordingly to what we want to have. So you can also select here what will be updated in this run, and this basically was the introduction to the status management of a certain test using our accelerated testing package. So I wish you good luck and successful testing and monitoring of tests by using this package. This was Christian Schütte from SAP Experience.